Candace Owens had barely finished her sentence when the room went silent. Across from her, Joe Rogan leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, eyes narrowed. What started as a casual discussion on his podcast about media accountability had just turned into one of the most tense moments in recent memory. And at the center of it, Charlie Kirk's widow, Elise Kirk, whose quiet presence in the conservative sphere suddenly became the focus of a fiery public storm. It began with a single question. Joe, known for pushing guests past their comfort zones, asked Candace point blank why she had chosen to question Elise's motives in her recent statement about the late political figure's legacy. The audience, both in the studio and online, froze. Candace smirked, sharp, deliberate, the kind that promised a long explanation, but what followed wasn't calm reasoning. It was confrontation. Within seconds, the tone shifted from discussion to accusation. Viewers watching live described the energy as electric, tense, even dangerous. Candace, defensive but unflinching. ACCUSED, Joe of protecting Elise because she fits the media's sympathy narrative. Joe shot back that Candace was chasing controversy instead of truth. Neither backed down. And as they argued, fans flooded social media with reactions that made the clash explode far beyond the podcast studio. Clips of the exchange went viral within hours. Twitter timelines filled with heated hashtags #TeamCandace, #RoganExposed, #JusticeForElise. Some accused Candace of targeting a grieving widow to boost her relevance. Others claimed Joe was silencing a woman with the courage to say what others wouldn't. The lines were drawn, and everyone had an opinion. Behind the scenes, insiders whispered that this wasn't just a spontaneous argument. They claimed it had been building for weeks, sparked by Candace's subtle jabs at Elise during speeches in Joe's quiet but public defense of her late husband's legacy. Friends of both hinted that what unfolded on camera was only the surface, that private messages, unspoken rivalries, and power dynamics inside the conservative media world had been simmering for months. Then came the rumor that turned everything upside down. A leaked email allegedly revealed that Elise Kirk had reached out to Joe days before the interview, warning him about Candace's agenda. Whether it was true or not, fans believed that belief turned a tense debate into a full-blown scandal. Suddenly, Candace wasn't just being challenged. She was being cornered, and Joe wasn't just interviewing her, he was calling her out on live air. The world watched as Candace's composure faltered for the first time in years. Her voice tightened, her smile slipped, and as Joe pressed on, her reply came sharp and cutting. "You don't know half of what's going on, Joe. None of you do." That single line sent the audience spiraling into speculation. What secrets was she hinting at? What really happened between Candace, Joe, and Elise Kirk? By the time the episode ended, one thing was clear. This wasn't just a conversation, it was war. The night after her livestream, the internet didn't sleep. Everyone was replaying Candace's words, pausing on every screenshot she flashed on screen, zooming in, dissecting the tone in her voice. In the dim light of her studio, she had sat motionless after ending the stream, the faint hum of her computer fan filling the silence. Her phone wouldn't stop vibrating. Messages poured in, some supportive, some vicious, and others from people she once called friends, asking if she'd lost her mind. She stared at one name in particular, Charlie. He'd called her 3 times. She didn't answer, not because she was afraid, but because she wanted him to feel what she had felt. For months, dismissed, ignored, unvalued. She whispered to herself, "Let him wait." Miles away, Charlie was pacing across his office floor. His assistant tried to hand him a coffee, but he waved it off. He looked furious, betrayed, yet oddly calm in that calculated way people get when they know the real storm hasn't even started. "She crossed a line," he muttered, dialing his manager. "We're going to respond, but not now. Not yet. Let her think she won." His team gathered around, whispering, scrolling through social feeds. The clip of Candace saying "I'm done, protecting liars" had reached over 3 million views in under an hour. Sponsorship emails were already coming in, half freezing payments, others pausing for clarity. It wasn't just drama anymore. It was money, reputation, the kind that doesn't come back clean once stained. By morning, fans had already taken sides. Threads on Reddit were flooded with theories. Some said Candace found out about secret funding Charlie had been hiding. Others claimed it was about her podcast being pushed out of a major network deal. A voice note leaked on Twitter of Candace allegedly saying, "He wanted to use my name to clean his image." The voice was muffled, distorted, but fans swore it was her. Every word spread like gasoline across dry grass. Every hour brought a new clip, a new rumor, a new betrayal. Even Joe Rogan's team posted a cryptic clip from his podcast, just him saying, "You think you know people?" Then boom, followed by a knowing smile. It was enough to send the internet into a frenzy. Candace woke up to chaos but didn't flinch. She brewed her coffee, glanced at her reflection, and said quietly, "They think I'm scared." She opened her phone camera again, hit record, and went live. This time she didn't raise her voice. She spoke slowly, clearly, with that measured calm that made her words hit harder. "If you think I'd risk everything without proof, you don't know me," she said. "I didn't start this, but I'll finish it." Then she clicked open a folder on her desktop. The sound of clicking keys filled the silence before she said, "Let's talk about money trails." The chat exploded. Fire emojis, shocked faces, hearts, broken hearts. She showed an email, thread dates, receipts, brand deals, redirected. It was enough to make even her haters pause. It wasn't just talk. There was something there. Charlie's team went into lockdown mode. His publicist drafted a statement, a cold, careful response, full of legal phrasing that said everything and nothing at once. "We are aware of certain allegations made online and will address them privately." But private wasn't an option anymore. His name was trending in 10 countries. Every old interview was being rewatched, every slip of the tongue analyzed. One journalist found footage from a conference where Charlie had joked, "Candace owes me for putting her on the map." It had been a laugh line back then. Now it sounded like a confession. Joe Rogan's next episode title popped up in YouTube recommendations. The Receipts War. Fans flooded the comments before the video even aired. Behind the scenes, Joe's producer Jamie was editing late, whispering, "Man, if he plays this clip, it's over." Joe was sitting at his mic, shaking his head. "I don't know, dude. I like both of them, but Candace brought evidence. That's not just internet beef." He leaned back, exhaled, and said, "This is what happens when people start treating movements like brands." That single quote, when leaked hours later, became its own storm. Candace reposted it with a fire emoji. Charlie's team stayed silent. In the following days, Candace kept dropping small hints, screenshots blurred, timestamps visible, just enough to keep everyone guessing. Her followers started calling her the truth bomb queen. Memes flooded Instagram. Candace holding receipts, Charlie hiding behind curtains, Joe Rogan watching with popcorn. It was chaos dressed as entertainment. But beneath the laughter, real tension simmered. Networks started making calls. Producers debated dropping both hosts from upcoming panels. An insider told a gossip page, "They've both become too volatile, too unpredictable." One evening, while scrolling through comments, Candace froze on one post. It was from a private account with no name, just a single sentence. "You forgot the part about Texas." Her stomach dropped. Texas was where the alleged deal happened. The one she thought no one knew about except her and one other person, Charlie. She leaned back, heart pounding. Either he was taunting her or someone inside his circle was leaking too. She typed a message to her assistant. "Find out who that is." Within minutes, her team began digging. Meanwhile, Charlie was already one step ahead. He'd hired a digital forensics consultant, someone who specialized in cleaning up online trails. "We find every piece of data she has and discredit it before it explodes," he ordered. But the consultant frowned. Too late. The screenshots are circulating through backup servers. Once it's viral, it's forever. Charlie slammed his hand on the desk. "Then we make her look unstable, emotional. She'll fold." His advisor hesitated. "She's not folding. Not this time." Candace knew it too. She'd been underestimated her entire career, called names, dismissed as dramatic. Now, she had momentum and she wasn't letting go. But even she didn't realize how many people were watching from the shadows. Sponsors, rivals, old friends. One text from an anonymous number read, "You're not the only one he lied to." She replied instantly, "Prove it." A file appeared moments later, audio recordings, blurred photos, unverified but explosive. She listened, her eyes widening. If real, it meant Charlie had more than one secret. She played the clip again, her expression changing from shock to determination. "Okay," she whispered. "Let's see how far you'll go." The next morning, she whispered. "Let's see how far you'll go." The next morning, she scheduled another stream. No warning, no teaser. Just live in 5, viewers flooded in by the thousands. She smiled faintly at the camera and said, "They told me to be quiet. I think I've been quiet long enough." At that exact moment, Charlie's phone rang nonstop. His team begged him not to respond live, but he ignored them. "If she wants a war, she'll get one," he said. And as the screens lit up across America with fans glued to every word, one thing became clear. This wasn't about politics anymore. This was personal. Deeply, dangerously personal. The night after the podcast fallout, a single post appeared on a small but notorious online forum known for leaking insider political gossip. It was anonymous, but the username Truth Harbor was enough to set off alarms. The post claimed to contain partial proof of financial misconduct connected to the late Charlie Kirk's foundation. Screenshots of alleged wire transfers, blurred but convincing, began circulating before moderators could delete them. One of the recipients listed was identified only by initials CO. Within minutes, social media was in chaos. Fans were tagging Candace Owens nonstop, demanding an explanation. Her name shot to the top of trending lists worldwide. Candace took foundation money. One post read, "So she accused Elise to distract us." Another asked. Her defenders fought back, calling it a smear campaign orchestrated by Joe Rogan's supporters. But even they couldn't ignore how fast the documents had spread. Candace went silent for almost 12 hours, a long time for someone who lived in the spotlight. Producers close to her said she refused interviews, switched phones, and even canceled a speaking engagement. Her team, however, insisted she was gathering evidence to expose the real culprits. But that silence created a vacuum, and into it poured speculation. Pundits began questioning whether Candace had gone too far trying to play the truth teller. Joe Rogan, for his part, stayed careful. His next podcast opened with an uncharacteristically somber tone. "Look," he said to his audience, "this whole situation got messy fast. I don't know who's right. I don't know who's lying, but people are getting hurt." It sounded like a truce, but fans weren't satisfied. They wanted a confrontation, not diplomacy. They wanted fire, and they got it that evening when Candace reappeared online. Her livestream opened with a chilling calm. "I know what they're trying to do," she began. "They're trying to silence me by framing me, by twisting everything I've said." She reached off camera and held up a printed screenshot of the leaked documents. "These are fake," she said, her voice rising. "And I know exactly who's behind them." She paused, staring straight into the lens. "Joe Rogan, you've gone too far." The chat exploded, instantly, messages flooding faster than the moderators could handle. "She's accusing Joe." One comment read, "Oh my God, it's war now." Candace didn't stop there. "You had access to these files because of your connections," she said, her tone shaking with emotion, "and you thought you could scare me. But I'm not going anywhere." She ended the stream abruptly, leaving millions of viewers hanging on that accusation. Within hours, Joe's name was trending alongside hers. Memes, reaction videos, podcasts, dissecting every frame of her livestream. It was everywhere. Some called her desperate, others called her brave. But behind the noise, something darker was unfolding. An unnamed producer from Joe's team leaked a message exchange between Joe and an individual believed to be one of Elise Kirk's advisors. The texts were vague, but enough to suggest coordination, possibly even prior knowledge of the leaked documents. Candace seized the moment. The next morning, she appeared on a conservative talkshow.com and composed. Her makeup flawless, her voice sharp. "The timing speaks for itself," she said. "First they ridicule me, then they leak fake evidence. And when I defend myself, they call it paranoia. Well, guess what? I've got receipts too." She leaned back, a small smirk curling at the edge of her mouth. "And when I drop them, the internet won't know what hit it." The host tried to press her, asking if she was accusing Joe Rogan directly of conspiring with Elise Kirk. Candace didn't hesitate. "I'm not accusing anyone," she said coolly. "I'm just saying the truth has a way of surfacing. And when it does, some people are going to regret ever underestimating me." The effect was immediate. By afternoon, #receipts by Candace trended at #1. Fans began speculating about what evidence she might have. Some even claimed she was about to release a secret recording of Joe admitting to manipulating the interview. Joe's camp issued a short statement calling the allegations baseless, but the damage was done. Every denial only made the story bigger. That night, an unverified audio clip surfaced on a gossip site. It was short, just a few seconds of muffled voices, but one of them sounded unmistakably like Joe Rogan saying, "Yeah, we'll leak it if we have to." The clip spread like wildfire. YouTube channels uploaded analysis videos breaking down the background noise, the reverb, the breathing pattern each, claiming it was authentic. Joe responded on his podcast the next day, visibly furious. "That clip is fake," he said. "It's been edited. I don't know who's behind it, but this is getting insane." His voice cracked midway through the rant. "I've always been honest on this show. I don't manipulate people, and I sure as hell don't leak private stuff." But the problem was, by then, nobody cared what was real. People only cared what was dramatic. Meanwhile, Elise Kirk's name returned to the headlines. A journalist published an article claiming that she had quietly left the country to avoid further media harassment. Photos of her at an airport surfaced dark glasses, a hood pulled low, walking briskly past reporters. Candace reposted one of the photos with the caption, "Innocent people don't run." The backlash was instant. Elise's supporters called it cruel, but Candace's followers praised her for calling out hypocrisy. Behind the scenes, networks began debating whether to blacklist both Candace and Joe. Advertisers were pulling back, afraid of the toxicity surrounding their feud, but neither seemed to care. The feud had become too personal, too consuming. Joe reportedly told friends he'd never seen someone so committed to chaos. Candace, meanwhile, was said to be working with a private investigator to trace the original leak. Then came the next twist, one that no one saw coming. A journalist known for breaking political scandals released a report claiming that the anonymous user Truth Harbor was not connected to Joe at all. According to the metadata, the posts originated from a device linked to an old associate of Candace's own media team. Screenshots of old emails between that associate and Candace surfaced, suggesting they'd fallen out months earlier. The implication was clear. Someone from Candace's circle might have betrayed her. The internet devoured the story. She got played by her own people. One headline read, "Memes showed Candace looking shocked," with captions like, "When your plan backfires." Her credibility began to wobble. For the first time, even some of her fans started questioning her. On her next stream, Candace appeared visibly tense, her usual confidence dimmed. "I trusted the wrong person," she admitted. But make no mistake, that doesn't change the facts. Elise and Joe know exactly what they did. She didn't realize that while she was speaking, Joe was already planning his next move. One of his team members had uncovered something buried deep in public archives. Something that could change everything about how the world viewed Candace Owens. Joe sat in his studio that night reading the file under the dim glow of a laptop screen, muttering to himself, "If this is real, she's finished." And that was how the second wave of the war began, not with another argument, but with a discovery that would pull everyone deeper into a web of deceit, betrayal, and obsession none of them could control. Joe Rogan didn't sleep that night. He sat alone in the studio, the air heavy with the stale smell of coffee and tension. The file on his laptop was a collection of archived communications meals, press drafts, payment logs all linked to a shell company, registered under a name almost identical to Candace's husband's business. It wasn't proof of guilt, not yet, but it was strange enough to make him pause. The timestamps were from the same week Candace had accused Elise Kirk of hiding donor funds. In other words, the timeline didn't match her story at all. By dawn, Joe had already contacted his legal team and 2 investigative journalists he trusted. "I want this checked." Every line he trusted. "I want this checked." He told them, "If she's clean, fine. But if she's not, I'm done protecting her." The irony wasn't lost on him. He had never been close to Candace, never even liked her politics much. Yet somehow he felt responsible for the chaos that had followed that one interview. He thought it would end after the cameras stopped rolling, but now it felt like he'd stepped into something much darker. That same morning, Candace went live again, wearing black, her tone colder than ever. She opened with a statement that sounded rehearsed but powerful. "There's a reason they're all panicking," she said. "I told the truth, and now they're scrambling to make me look like the villain." Joe, Elise, the media, they're all part of the same machine. Her audience swelled instantly, comments flooding in. "We believe you. Candace, don't back down. They can't cancel the truth." She smirked, feeding off the momentum. "And to whoever leaked those documents, thank you. You just proved my point." Hours later, Joe's team sent him the results of their verification. The emails were genuine. The shell company existed. But the kicker was that it had been receiving large transfers from a donor group, once linked to Elise Kirk's late husband. The same donor group that Candace had accused of corruption. That discovery turned everything upside down. If Candace had ties to those same funds, what did that mean? Was she exposing corruption or exploiting it? Joe debated going public. His friends warned him it would look like retaliation. "You'll make her a martyr," one said. But by then, the situation had spiraled too far. He had to clear his name, and this was the only way. So on his next podcast, he dropped it. "I'm done staying quiet," he began. "Candace accused Elise Kirk of fraud. Fine, but now there's evidence showing money moving into a company connected to Candace's own circle during the same period. That's not an opinion. That's a fact." He stopped for a breath, staring straight into the camera. "Candace, if you want to talk about transparency, let's start with yours." The internet caught fire instantly. Clips spread across every platform. The debate shifted again now. People weren't asking whether Elise was guilty, but whether Candace had been projecting her own misdeeds. #CandaceExposed trended for days. Influencers, commentators, and political figures all joined in. The spectacle was unstoppable. Candace, however, didn't flinch. Within hours, she responded with her most dramatic move. Yet a press conference streamed live from a luxury hotel ballroom. The backdrop was a massive banner reading "Truth cannot be silenced." She walked to the podium in silence, cameras flashing like thunder. Her first words stunned everyone. "Joe Rogan," she said softly, "you're not the first man who's tried to destroy me, but you'll be the last." She then played a clip on a projector recording of Joe's voice, calm but unmistakable, discussing a deal with an unknown individual about containing the fallout. The audience gasped. "This was sent to me last night," she said. "It's time the world knows what he's hiding." The clip sounded authentic enough to ignite chaos online. Joe's name trended again, this time with people accusing him of orchestrating the entire scandal to sabotage Candace. But minutes later, experts began analyzing the audio. They discovered discrepancies in the waveform edits, splices, digital manipulation. By the next morning, news outlets declared it likely doctored. But the damage was already done. Behind the scenes, Joe's anger turned to exhaustion. He called his team into an emergency meeting. "She's gone nuclear," he muttered, "and people are eating it up." One of his producers suggested suing for defamation, but Joe hesitated. "If we go legal, she'll spin it as censorship. She'll say I'm trying to silence her." While Joe's camp scrambled, Candace's publicist was busy feeding new rumors to gossip sites. Anonymous sources claimed Elise Kirk had fled to London to avoid subpoenas. Others whispered about missing donations, shut down servers, deleted emails. None of it could be confirmed, but confirmation didn't matter anymore. Perception did. 3 days later, Elise reappeared, this time in an exclusive interview from her home. Her eyes were swollen from crying, her voice trembling. "I've been quiet because I'm grieving," she said softly. "But I can't watch people destroy my husband's memory anymore." Candace Owens has lied about everything. She produced documents showing that all foundation transactions had been audited and cleared by federal regulators months before the accusations began. "There's nothing missing, nothing hidden," she said. She made this up. The internet fractured. Those who had believed Candace began to doubt her. Some left her comment sections entirely, calling her a fraud hiding behind outrage. Still, her core followers clung to her version of events. "They're all actors," one fan wrote. "The truth always looks crazy before it's proven." Joe's show released another episode the next day, this time featuring a digital forensics expert who broke down the manipulated audio Candace had played. "The splice points are obvious," the expert said. "Someone created this to frame Joe." Joe didn't gloat. He just sat there quiet, looking into the camera with something that almost looked like pity. "She's gone too far," he said finally, "and I think she knows it." But Candace wasn't done. She released a new video titled "The Evidence They Don't Want You to See." It opened with dramatic music and black and white photos of Joe, Elise, and a handful of unnamed donors. She spoke over it, her tone grave. "This isn't about me," she said. "It's about corruption, deception, and power." They tried to bury the truth, but the internet doesn't forget. It was the most watched video of her career. And yet, halfway through the upload, eagle-eyed viewers noticed something strange. A document shown on screen bore a date stamp from the future. Within hours, users pointed it out, proving the footage had been tampered with. The backlash was instant. Her credibility crumbled. Sponsors cut ties. News outlets called it the greatest self-sabotage in influencer history. Candace disappeared from public view for days. Her social media went dark. Insiders whispered that she'd been dropped by her management company. Joe, on the other hand, finally broke his silence again, but not with gloating or anger. "I didn't want it to end like this," he said on his podcast. "I wanted a debate. What we got instead was a circus." And yet, just when everyone thought the storm was dying, something unexpected happened. A small-time journalist posted a cryptic tweet. "You all looked at Candace and Joe, but the real story was Elise." The tweet went viral overnight, and the next morning, an unmarked package arrived at Joe's studio. Inside, a USB drive labeled Proof. Joe stared at it, uncertain whether to open it, because deep down he already knew this wasn't over. It was only about to get worse. So now that everything is out in the open, it's clear this isn't just another celebrity scandal, it's a turning point. The lies, the denials, the games, all of it has finally hit a wall. And whether you love them or can't stand them, you can't deny one thing: what just happened will change how people look at these stars forever. This isn't about fame anymore. This is about truth, image, and the price of staying silent for too long. Because in this world, silence protects no one. But the real question is, what happens next? Will they rebuild their name? Or is this the final chapter of their spotlight story? Hollywood has a short memory, but the internet never forgets. And once your secrets are out, there's no going back. Fans are already choosing sides, hashtags are flooding timelines, and producers are watching closely, deciding who's worth saving and who's officially canceled. If you've been here from the start, you know this story has been full of twists. But trust me, what's coming next is bigger. We've seen the fall. Now wait for the fallout. Because every move from here will tell us who's truly in control and who's just pretending. So stay with us. Subscribe right now. Turn on that bell. And don't blink, because the next story drops soon. And it's even wilder than this one. Hollywood's masks are slipping fast, and we're here to show you what's really underneath. This is Glam Real, where the truth doesn't hide behind the fame. Stay tuned, because the next name we uncover might just shock you. Stay tuned, because the next name we uncover might just shock you.